Okay, so we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about how fans are freaking out about Jurassic World Rebirth. They have a reason to. I mean, the last few films weren't that great. Yeah, and then they have a reason to be skeptical. But let's see what let's see exactly what he's talking about in this video right here, right now, and now.
Welcome home, residents. It's your Mayor Alistair back once again, and since the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer has released, it's left many fans divided, to say the least. There are elements of this film that some fans seem to love, and some seem to hate, with some even freaking out about it. The three biggest
Yeah,
hot topics being the mutant.
I already know what he's about to say. I hold on. Let me predict what he's about to say. The mutants, the humor of the film, even though it's supposed to be more scarier than the other ones, and the Spinosaurus design. I can already tell those are the three things he's about to say. And I haven't even watched this video yet. I promise y'all. Hold on. I can already tell you those are the things he's gonna say: the mutant creatures, the Spinosaurus design, and the humor. Let's see what he's about to say.
The humor, and the potential canon-breaking retcons. So today,
Two of those I got correct. Two of those I got correct.
we're joined with Jacob and Swerve to answer the question, is it really
Swerve.
that bad? Or is
Swerve.
it something that just needs to be delved into more before people really understand it? Now, leading up to the trailer's release, I was on the defense with the whole mutant idea. I thought it kind of like fit with the Jurassic World, story and, its themes. But, you did see a lot of
They're supposed to be genetically modified dinosaurs. Of course, they aren't gonna always get it right. I can I after doing more after watching more videos on what the mutant does, I can understand now from the lore from that they I can understand why there's a mutant in this franchise now. I can at least understand. I still need to see it for myself. We still I do think we still need to know more about the mutant dinosaur, but I can understand it now. Before I was like, why is there a mutant here? Just focus on the dinosaurs. But after watching some videos, it's apparent. I can understand it now. It wasn't when they were designing when the scientists in the franchise were modifying the T Rex. This was basically gone horribly wrong, horribly wrong. So they just abandoned it here. So basically, I do need to see some features of the T Rex in this freaking dinosaur, in this mutant. Since this is apparently this is a T Rex, but they fucked it up during the process.
discussions happening, like that doesn't belong in a Jurassic film. But now the trailer's released and we know it's going to happen. What do we think of it? Because fans are still pretty much split down the middle.
Well, I like the premise, like having a mutant, a failed species all of those years ago, because it's almost a guarantee at that point. You don't jump straight into building something so big like this and be successful right away. It just doesn't make sense. So the whole premise and idea of it sounds great, but then you come into some contradictions, and then you come into
That's a big ass fucking creature. just bro, just put it near the Spinosaurus or the Indominus Rex or the Giga or even the T Rex. I mean, there apparently there are two T Rexes in this movie. Just have it stand next to it, just to see in comparison, just to see how big it is. Mm. Just from looking at it's not it fits just by walking. It already looks like the biggest theropod so far. Which enough? Let me say this: enough with the whole bigger, stronger dinosaur than the T Rex thing. That shit's getting old now. That shit it's kind of lame now. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just if you're gonna have another theropod, then it's cool. But enough with the whole bigger, stronger dinosaur than the T Rex thing. I wouldn't have a problem with it if they would have done it better. I'm just saying. At least I really hope they do the mutant better because I'm kind of sick of the whole bigger, stronger T-Rex villain thing that they've been doing with these movies, which I can understand why they do it, but it's the execution that just doesn't work for me. That's just, and the fact that they do it too much. Do it less and have it be executed well, and I'm on board. That's it. It just have the fight be evenly matched, and yeah, don't have the T-Rex get pussied around like how they've been doing it. Give the T-Rex some respect. It's a dinosaur. What am I? It's just a dinosaur.
The model that really throws me off. Like even in my trailer reaction, I knew the hybrid or the mutant would be there, but the size of it, that really threw me off. Like I had no clue it was going to be that large, and especially like to see something that's not a sauropod and pretty much be a quadruped, it just doesn't look right, you know.
It's safe to say that the reaction to the mutant has been divided, with many fans outright hating the concept.
I can understand because some people are kind of sick of the whole hybrid mutant. What am I saying mutant for? Just the first mutant in this franchise. But you know what I mean. The whole genetically, they just want to see regular dinosaurs. But I feel like we have to see it. We have to know more about it before we just outright put it off. And I did say this in my trailer reaction, but don't have the whole mutants overstay its welcome. Maybe for like a few movies here and there, but don't have it be like the hybrids where they just kind of put it in every project. Every project. It was only 3 projects. Basically, have it probably only been this movie, since this movie has a reason. This movie at least has a perfectly good reason. These are the failed experiments of the original Jurassic Park. And this was supposed to be a T-Rex, but during the process, it went horribly wrong. So pretty much have this movie be the only one with a mutant. If not, then at least one more movie, but that's it. Don't have it be like the hybrids. Don't have it overstay its welcome. Is all I'm trying to say. Keep it fresh and exciting. Because after all, that's the point of these movies, right?
And design. Man, I'm really tired of all this hybrid mutant dinos. Why can't they just use real dinos? So many cool prehistoric creatures, yet they create abominations.
Yeah, pretty much don't have it get to the point where you get reactions like this. Don't let it get to this point again.
What is something like that doing in a Jurassic Park movie? Looks like something from Resident Evil. I don't know how to feel about this, honestly. Horrible. But don't get me wrong.
It looks like a xenophore. It looks like a xeno. I know they say they took some inspiration from Alien, but it literally looks like a xenophore.
I absolutely love everything else. I just hate the whole mutant hybrid idea. Personally, hate the mutant plotline.
I would have preferred if they just made the Spinosaurus the main, or either the T-Rex or the Spinosaurus the main dino antagonist of this movie. I would have honestly preferred that, but it is what it is, and I need to see where it. We still need to see it just to make sure.
Another mutant because their writers are too incompetent to make nature's true perfect predator scary. The general consensus has been that it doesn't belong in Jurassic Park. But does it? Let us know what you think in the comments section down below.
I personally think, like I keep saying, we need to see it for ourselves. We need to see what it does before we just say, before we just outright say, fuck this creature.
We haven't really got any good shots on it, you know, like it's still been being very hidden.
That's what I'm saying. We've seen little of it. For all I know, it could be doing some terrifying stuff to where we, like the Indominus Rex, this becomes a fan favorite. Much like the Indominus Rex, it could probably be up there with the Indominus Rex. And the reason why I say Indominus Rex and not Indoraptor or Scorpius Rex, because it's a larger theropod. It's one of the larger ones. I feel like we just need. I feel like as long as they don't do exactly what they did to the Giganotosaurus and Dominion, and have it do nothing in it and get horribly and brutally I still feel bad for the Giga. The Giga didn't really do nothing. All it did was just ate a deer and fight the T-Rex because it's an animal. You're gonna get into it with another animal. Like what the fuck? And then they tried to hype it up as a villain. Like shut the fuck up. At least with this, it's essentially a T-Rex. So it has to fight the T-Rex or the Spinosaurus somehow. It's one of the bigger theropods. Unless I don't want to talk too much, but I'm just saying we need to see it do something before we just judge it.
Every single angle that we got at this.
Although I am gonna say this though, if you're gonna make another bigger theropod threat, actually at least have it be a threat.
Mutant. It looks like it's a different size. I mean, that one shot to where you just see its arm or whatever that is come on the screen. It looks like it's 50 feet tall right there, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We have to wait and get a true look at this thing, I think. But yeah, it's definitely caused some controversial takes, as well as the trailer itself. I feel like has a little bit of an atmosphere issue behind it that is aiming for an audience that, you know,
I feel like what the humor is that they're showing some of the more humor parts of the film in the trailer. Probably because they don't want to show the more dramatic moments, show them what any dramatic dialogue in the trailer yet. They want to probably say that for the film. As well as having the trailer itself be full of these whimsical moments, despite showing some darker stuff. It's pretty much just to let people know. I feel like they made the trailer like that on purpose, just for the sake of getting people on board, and not immediately showing a darker, serious trailer. I still feel like the movie will be dark, but with the marketing, I feel like they had to get as many people on board as possible. Which, to be honest, I would show at least some more intense moments here and there. Some more, just to let people know, just to let more people know that, hey, this is not like the other Jurassic movies. We saw the criticisms. We promised this would be a better film. Even though you have to live up to those expectations as well. But let's go.
Let you get into that, Al.
Yeah, so obviously, like, if you're introducing something as big as a mutant, you want to really go hard in convincing them this is something that's, like, gonna work. But then, like, the trailer, like, 50% of it is kind of them telling jokes, and it's kind of more action orientated.
Yeah, like I said, they probably made it like that on purpose, just because probably it's because they didn't want to spoil it. And plus, it's a trailer. It's not. They're probably gonna put some. There's gonna be some different scenes here and there. It's gonna feel out of place.
And then they just slap this mutant in there without having like any kind of build-up, or there's no momentum making you feel like it should be in this film. So everyone's like, wait, hang on, what? Where did that come from? What's happening? One of the biggest complaints in the trailer has to be regarding the humor, with many saying it feels out of place, and that it makes the film look tonally colorblind.
None of what you just said is good.
This is so cringe!
Yeah, I would have cut that line out. I would have cut that line out. Yeah, of course. What the fuck? What is this motherfucker? Diddysaurus run. Fuck off.
But is it enough to ruin Jurassic World Rebirth?
More or less.
So I think a lot of people are coming away from this trailer.
I don't think. It really depends on how you use the jokes. Yes, sure, there's some movies with corny humor in there. We all know at this point. We all know there are movies with corny humor and all this stuff, but they're still good movies. And there are some good movies with some humor that aren't the best, and there are bad movies that with humor that aren't the best. It really depends on how you use the humor. Humor is subjective, to be honest. It's the comedy. Yes, I do think you do need to tone down the comedy when it comes to serious moments, but at the end of the day, comedy is subjective. You don't have the comedy overstay its welcome and take away what's supposed to be a serious moment. Oh, I just touched my eye there. Holy cow. Don't. All right, we good now. Don't have the humor take away from the seriousness. If there's a more intense scene, let the scene play out as it's supposed to be, without throwing a joke in there. take it serious. Is what I'm trying to say.
They're kind of like confused on what they should feel about it, and I think that's kind of why maybe the trailer's reaction's been quite mixed. Like, I still think the film's gonna be really good, but I think at this point, the trailer, I don't think...
I do think it will be better than Dominion, obviously, but I don't know how to feel about the movie itself. I need to actually see it for myself, because you can hype it up and say it's good, but if it's not good, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
Is a very good trailer for, like, you know, telling audiences what kind of film it's going to be, because I have no doubt it's going to be, you know, more atmospheric. It's going to have lots of slow moments where you get to sit in the atmosphere, and it's probably going to have lots of tense moments and scares, but you don't really get that from the trailer. So something, it does not convince you that a mutant should really work unless you are already on board with the idea of a mutant.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the trailer's been edited in a way that, because if you think about the articles that have released over the last few months, right? They have said it's pretty much like a horror survival kind of thing. Not too, like, graphical horror, but they've pretty much said how much they want to focus on.
Not too graphical. To those people that want this movie to be rated R, how do y'all feel about what he just said? To those people that are saying that Jurassic World Rebirth is going to be rated R, how do y'all feel about what he just said?
Horror.
Like the King Kong original story. Yeah.
But the trailer is not edited in that way. It does not give off that vibe. So I think they probably...
Hold on.
But the trailer is not edited.
Am I tripping? That shot right there literally looks like Skull. That shot literally makes the island right there. Literally makes the island look like Skull Island. I know I'm not tripping. I know I'm not the only one that thinks about that thinks that way. That specific shot right there literally makes the island feel like Skull Island. Like, what the hell?
In that way, it does not give off that vibe. So I think they've probably done that specifically.
I agree.
To entice a wider range of audiences, because if you edit it like A Quiet Place or like The Terrifier or something like that in that trailer sense, there's going to be a lot of people who are turned off it because
like I said, they probably made the trailer more whimsical just to bring in more people. When the movie comes out, people are gonna be like, "Damn, this is really that dark. It's darker than some of the other Jurassic films. What the fuck?" I personally prefer that marketing. I prefer marketing like that.
whilst I'm sure that there is probably a majority out there who want to see something more horrific from this franchise, there's still a big audience who don't want to see that. So it's kind of like a mixture, like a good best of...
Wait a minute, then how are the people that don't want this to be the horror movie how are they gonna feel if they find out this is actually a horror movie? What the fuck? This is supposed to be a dinosaur movie. Why is this scary? Nigga, it's dinosaurs. Do you not know what dinosaurs can do? They're dinosaurs. There's a reason why they're extinct. The fuck? The last Jurassic movies really changed our perception on dinosaurs. That
both worlds kind of thing.
And it's not even like, you know, it's not like we're the only ones noticing. Like, I don't think I've seen people recreating like trailers so early on before, but I've already seen like 3, and they've all been pretty much better than the trailer that we got.
Yeah.
You know, I saw one just today that had the, you know, from the screenwriter of Jurassic Park and from the director of Godzilla and Rogue One, and I was just like, why wasn't that there?
I made the same
why
tweet.
Why didn't they have that? It's a huge thing.
Exactly. I was thinking, like, you know, this is kind of like
they were probably gonna have people think. Yeah, I feel like that it wasn't there just so that way, just because they were worried. Some people were gonna be like, "That's that nigga that directed Godzilla." Is that, you mean the first Godzilla movie where Godzilla wasn't even the main focus? How the hell is this guy working on Jurassic Park? What the fuck? How the fuck is this nigga working on Jurassic Park? This the same motherfucker who couldn't even give Godzilla more than 10 minutes of screen time. You telling me he's working on dinosaurs? What the fuck? And they'll talk about that the characters in this Godzilla movie were boring as shit. What the hell makes you think I'm supposed to trust him on a Jurassic Park movie? He couldn't even give us some Godzilla action. That's probably what the reactions were gonna. That's probably what the reactions were gonna be if they put from the director that made Godzilla 2014.
As they said, it's a new era of the franchise, so you want to address it as such, because we already knew the trilogy, the Jurassic World trilogy, was Colin Trevorrow, and it was pretty much the same guy over and over again. But then this is something new, and I'm not sure many people, like, out of the general.
Keep in mind, like I said, like I said before, I'm not doing any jabs at Garrett Edwards, by the way. I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out that might be the reason why he didn't. I'm just pointing out that could possibly be the reason why he put that in the trailer. I'm not doing any jabs at Garrett Edwards. I'm looking forward to his portrayal of the Jurassic franchise when this movie comes out. I'm just saying.
Audience would know that. Even if like you're a movie nerd, you're still not going to know that Gareth Edwards or David Koepp would return unless you're actually invested in the actual news specifically for this movie. So in the trailer itself, saying that it's, right there for the screenwriter of the original Jurassic Park and the original Godzilla, or not the original Godzilla, but you know what I mean, in the Monsterverse, that would have brought a lot of people in right away.
And I think the people that really, we've seen the reaction amongst moviegoers is that there's a portion of people who really want to see that Godzilla -1 style of super serious, kind of feels more down to earth, a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, I feel like that's what we're getting though. I feel like that's what we're getting though. I feel like they just need to show more scenes to let audiences know that that's exactly what's gonna be. I feel like that's what it's gonna be though.
People just really want that, and they wanted they wanted a trailer like that was slow, that was scary, that you didn't see anything until the very end, and then it goes rah, and then it's like, whoa,
like I said, I think the
Jurassic
film will
Rebirth,
still be like that, because even Gareth Edwards has been like, we're doing the less is more approach, but like the trailer makes it look like there's going to be more dinosaurs than in any other Jurassic film. Like they just like,
except Dominion though, except for Dominion. I agree with what you just said, but I agree with what you just said, but except for Dominion, because Dominion, I swear, that trailer had loads of dinosaurs. Dinosaurs that they arguably should have saved for the movie. I can even say the same for this trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth. They probably should have saved the mutant dinosaur, or even the Spinosaurus into the movie. I mean, it probably showed like the sale of the Spinosauruses, but not the dinosaurs themselves. Like, holy shit! I feel like they should have saved some of this for the movie.
through everything that's screen.
I hope they don't spoil this movie though. Let me say that right now. Do not spoil Jurassic World Rebirth.
The humor, the way the trailer was edited, I don't think it really does the film justice. But I think one thing which you're quite passionate about is just kind of whether it conflicts with the lore of Jurassic or not.
Yeah. There's a fair few things.
There's lots of things where you can just go, well, it's an island that they didn't want to document, so why would anyone know about it? But even just down to the stuff we know about the first labs and Lockwood, this doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, at least based on what they're telling us.
Yeah.
So what is that? What are you freaking out when it comes to the canon for Jurassic and whether this is gonna maybe retcon some stuff? Hardcore fans of the series haven't been able to shake that something is wrong with the film. After years of painstakingly following the lore, Rebirth looks to topple that by bringing in new companies and inventing a new island where the research actually...
I feel like this movie should have taken place on Isla Sorna. Sorna. Isla Sorna. Or Sora, is that what it's Sorna? It's Sorna. I feel like this movie should have taken place on Isla Sorna due to the Spinosauruses, due to the multiple Spinosauruses, the mutant dinosaur, and because of the fact that they stated this was the original place for Jurassic Park. Even though we watched The Lost World and JB3, they clearly said it was Isla Sorna that was the original place that they cloned the dinosaurs. I feel like this movie should have taken place on Isla Sorna.
happened. Not Sorna, not Lockwood's estate, This is a new place that everyone conveniently forgot to mention. But is it really something to worry about?
Mate, I've been the whole week actually, since the trailer released, I've been studying my ass off to try and work out how this fits into the whole canonical lore. Because there's so many things said throughout the trailer, and I get it's just the trailer, so you can't take everything at full face value because it could just be like a passing by comment.
If they wanted to have this movie take place on an island, it's one thing. But to have them say this was the original Jurassic Park place, the place that they cloned the dinosaurs for Jurassic Park. I feel like we need to have more explanation. They need to build that explanation more in the movie before I could just say before we outright just say like I keep saying, we need to see it for us. We need to hear the explanation behind all this. We need to majority of the stuff that's gonna go down in this film. We need to know the reasons behind all this stuff. Like them saying this was the original, the place where they cloned the dinosaurs for the original Jurassic Park. We need to have more explanation on why this is it and not Isla Sorna. Maybe this was probably the original place before the mutant dinosaur. Something went wrong here, and then after that they just sort of went, hey, let's go over to Isla Sorna instead, and make sure we don't make the same mistakes like our last island did. Despite the fact that you created despite the fact that the Spinosaurus was technically that mutant, you could say that genetically mutant dinosaur, because of how powerful it was and strong it was in that film.
In the movie, and it doesn't really mean anything, but like at the same time, why would you add that into the trailer if it's not like anything to do with the timeline? And it just gets a little bit convoluted because, for example, like the mutants, we know that both InGen and Masrani, if the creature didn't come out right, they would kill it. For example, like they'd get rid of it, they'd destroy it right away. So I don't know how they would have left the mutants to get to this big stage and look at the way that they are and be how old as they are. Like, for example, even in Camp Cretaceous, Dr. Wu was so amazed that Bumpy came out asymmetrical because he doesn't like that. So it's just like one of those things. Like people overlook it quite easily. Then you get.
Is Dr. Wu? Let me guess. Is Dr. Wu in this movie? Is Dr. Wu's probably going to be in the flashback scenes? I'm calling it now. The only returning character is Dr. Wu. The only returning character, I can see returning as Dr. Wu, probably in a flashback scene where they created the mutant, or at least the T-Rex before it becomes the mutant.
With the new mysterious island, and it's not documented, but then when you look at the legalities of it and get really deep into it, they legally have to document what's happening on the island.
Damn, how do the people in the Jurassic universe feel about the Spinosauruses? How do they feel about 3 Spinosauruses that were left on that were left on the island that were supposed to be how do they feel about 3 Spinosauruses that are working with a Mosasaurus that have a symbiotic relationship with a Mosasaurus that are left on an island where dinosaurs, which are basically dinosaurs, I can't talk. 3 Spinosauruses that are they're genetically modified Spinosauruses that went wrong, left on an island. And how do they feel about the JP3 monstrosity that was the Spinosauruses on Isla Sorna? How do the people in the Jurassic universe feel about the Spinosauruses in general? Because you could argue that both of the Spinosauruses on both islands are dinosaurs that went horribly wrong to the point where they were left on the island. It's essentially the same. Maybe that could be another reason why the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3 team up may have to work with these 3 Spinosaurus right here, because you could argue that all the Spinosaurus in the Jurassic universes are horribly wrong, are creatures that went horribly wrong in processes to the point where they were left on their respective islands. Fuck, I can't talk. But y'all get what I'm trying to say, though. They can have something to relate to.
So
Right after I said that, the next thing he shows.
a lot of things happen in the timeline, so I'm sure it's very hard to make a movie that does
Bro, speaking of
things happen.
speaking of the Spinosaurus and the T-Rex, I just want to see. They're gonna have a rematch. They're gonna have a rematch with one of these three Spinosauruses. I just want to see how the Spinosauruses are in Jurassic World Rebirth. I just want to see if these Spinosauruses are strong. I don't think they're as strong as the JP3 Spinosaurus, but I do want them to have. I do want these at least one of them or all three of them to have some feats here and there.
Happen in the timeline, so I'm sure it's
Basically, make the these three Spinosauruses formidable.
very hard to make a movie that doesn't retcon one thing or another, whether it's big or small. So it's just I think it's a matter of how much that they can get away with without pushing the timeline too heavy.
I mean, I'm hoping that, you know, David Koepp has done his research. You know, he's someone that's been out of the Jurassic series for 25 years or so. When has Lost World come out? A long time ago. So if he hasn't been through and been like, oh yeah, I've gone and watched Camp Cretaceous, which, let's be serious, he probably hasn't. You know, there's probably going to be a lot of stuff that he's missed. But
there's a lot of stuff
just
that's been
hoping,
added.
fingers crossed, that it doesn't clash and people can chill out and it, you know, and just enjoy it. You know.
That's another thing this movie needs to be. Just a self-contained story that doesn't. Oh, it's not about setups and lores into this stuff. Just if you're gonna revitalize the franchise, what you're gonna need to do is just make this one have the sequels. I probably add to the lore, but have this one just be a fun experience just for audiences. Just tell the story that you're telling. Okay. Bring back the JP3 Spinosaurus though.
Well, that's the thing. If you look at Chaos Theory, they contradicted and changed the timeline. Like we know Dominion was set in August. We know for a fact. And then all of a sudden, they pushed Dominion to November, and it just because, you know, you can see the calendar in the background says it's in September. Then the producers confirmed that it takes place before Dominion, so it has to push Dominion to November. So you know, those things do happen, which is unfortunate. But again, how much can they get away with before it gets a bit too... You're changing too much, you know?
From what I got to why everyone's, you know, kind of both good and bad freaking out, I think this is all a designed attempt at trying to just get people talking about this movie. You know?
Well, we're used to that kind of the way
Really?
they treat the MonsterVerse. You know, how they kind of just do
Yeah,
whatever they
it's very
want.
MonsterVerse.
Yeah. You could argue they're doing the exact same thing as they're doing with the MonsterVerse. Look how they hyped up Scar King in the trailers compared to the movie. Look how they hyped up Scar King.
Versi.
Yeah, the way they made the trailer sound, they made it sound like it's lore for the general audience. It's like we mentioned Jurassic Park, everyone clap, and everyone goes, "Yeah, I remember that."
So this is an interesting take, because I feel like there's a ton of mystery still with the Jurassic series going forward, and I hope that you know, it does make sense in the end, and it does kind of reignite a true lore.
Bro, I'm just happy the Spinosaurus is in here. I'm happy the Spinosaurus is back. Even if it's not the JP3 Spinosaurus, which that specific dinosaur, that specific motherfucker better return somewhat, shape, or form. But I'm just saying.
In the Jurassic franchise, because it's bounced around. It follows these rough guidelines, you know, kind of like throughout the whole series. But they have yet to really stick with an idea for more than a few movies at a time here in this franchise that's been around for a lot of movies. So maybe this is the beginning of everything kind of coming together. But
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see.
It depends if they want to make
coming together, but
fingers crossed.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait.
Watch them try to recreate this moment. I'm calling it right now. They're probably gonna try to recreate this moment.
and
It
see.
depends if they want to make more animated spin-offs, and then they kind of just do whatever they want with that.
Well, they might as well. They've got 2. They might as well make a trilogy out of them.
I think that about wraps up the 3 different things that I think people are freaking out about. You've got the mutant, you've got maybe the way the trailer's edited and the humor, and you've got the lore kind of just looking messy.
You could also argue the designs of the Spinosauruses in this movie. Some people, that's a topic many people are talking about, how the Spinosaurus should have been the JP3 Spinosaurus, or at least have these 3 Spinosauruses look more like the Jurassic Park 3 monstrosity.
Those that have issues with the trailer are of course entitled to their opinion, but it's worth waiting for the final film to release because...
Yeah, like I said, only things I said were pretty much the humor, and we need to see more of the mutant dinosaur, because like one of the tweets said, they should have just focused on the dinosaurs with this one, because we already had the hybrids, and then there was the locust subplot in Dominion. It's like they could have just, if they wanted to revitalize the franchise, if they're gonna go back to the basics, just focus on the dinosaurs. But like I said, there was at least an explanation on the mutant. It was supposed to be a T-Rex, but scientists went totally wrong. That's actually an original explanation. Although I am gonna say this, hopefully the mutant doesn't overstay its welcome. Let it probably only be this movie. That's all I'm saying. And even then, have the mutants show up near the third act. Spend some time with the actual dinosaurs. Cause you sure as hell need to do that right now after what you pulled last time with Dominion. Again, I'm gonna keep bringing up Dominion because that movie was a complete and utter disaster.
I guarantee
Dominion technically killed the franchise for me and for many people. Honestly, I didn't even want another Jurassic movie after Jurassic World Dominion because of how horribly they did that. Because of how they just fucked up this franchise and all the missed potential it had. I honestly didn't want another Jurassic movie, but let's just see how this movie plays off before we just outright say, yeah, fuck this movie. I personally felt like a lot of the stuff that I'm actually loving some of the stuff I'm hearing about this movie. I just need to see how it's executed, because honestly, some of these ideas they're saying with this movie, they should have done it with the last movie. Curing diseases, using dinosaur DNA to cure diseases. The 3 Spinosauruses, which that's a dinosaur many people wanted to see return for the longest time, which I remember making some videos saying the Spinosaurus was going to return at Dominion, and look how that turned out. And honestly, yeah, a lot of the stuff that's going on with Dominion, with Rebirth, this movie could have been Jurassic World Dominion, but with a higher scale. Some of these ideas should have been in the last movie. That's all I'm saying. Which is one thing I'm like, and the horror, too. Yeah, that's why I forgot to say, and the horror.
that most,
showing the damage these creatures can bring.
if not all their questions will be answered. It's still early days, and if Rebirth releases and answers none of them, contradicts the law, and doesn't give a believable reason for the mutant to exist 50 years
and fucking up how they do the Spinosaurus, and pretty much doing some of the same shit as the last few films. Let me tell you something. If this movie doesn't live up to its expectations, live up to what you're promising, just stop making Jurassic movies in general, because that last movie already pissed me off. Honestly, just stop. Knowing they're gonna keep milking this franchise, but all I'm saying is at least make them better this time. Make it better this time.
years after they started researching the dinosaurs, then the fans are truly justified in freaking out about the trailer. But for now...
And they have another reason. The last movies disappointed them to the point where they're like, why are they still making these movies? They're just milking it at this point. Especially since the last movie was supposed to be... They weren't going to end the franchise there. These movies make money, but I'm just saying, from a storytelling perspective, some people were like, the last movie was supposed to be the last one. And from a marketing point of view as well, some people are like, wasn't the last one supposed to be the final one? What the fuck?
Let's remain cautiously optimistic that the writers know what they're doing.
I'm optimistic about this one, but I'm also remaining skeptical just in case they pull some shit at the end.
Right, there we have it. Right, that's why
Yeah,
fans
it's
are
one of the
freaking
very
out.
few movies that you can go and say, I think the movie will be better than the trailer.
There you go. If you have any specific thing that you're freaking out based on the trailer, let us know in the comments section down below. I've been Alistair, he's been
Jacob.
and the other one's been
Swerve.
Give this video a like if you're hyped for Jurassic World Rebirth. As always, subscribe and chomp the notification button for more Jurassic content. I've been Alistair, joined with Jacob and Swerve,
Okay, there you go. Oh,
and we'll see you, residents, in the next one.
okay, there you go. Yeah, there's Jurassic World Rebirth. The concerns people have with that film, and honestly, I understand where they're coming from. Hopefully, this movie is better. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, that's all I got to say right now. So, peace.